Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I am super excited to be talking Real Housewives of Miami, Season 2, Episode 6, Sexting Candles. Ooh, what an episode. So much to talk about. There's Karent drama, there's drama with Joanna and Roman. What else is new there? Drama with everybody. So we'll get into it. If you missed my last episode, you guys, they just announced they're renewing this show. I can't wait. I'm so excited. No date as of yet, but you better believe I will be covering it. So check back with me for that. In the meantime, let's get into the episode. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. Okay, so it's the night of Alexia's venue event. Now remember, this is the first social event she's thrown since her son got into a terrible car accident. So Karent's in the car. She's talking to Joanna. This is where we left off on the last episode. Joanna called to warn her that Adriana is going to be talking to her at the event that night. So Karent's just smiling away. That's what she does. So yeah, we'll get into it. So we see, obviously somebody behind the scenes does not like Karent because they make a big deal showing her waiting for photos, asking for photos. This has been her MO the entire season. She loves to get photos made. So, okay. So Karent arrives. She hugs Adriana. Adriana says to her, "Hey, before you leave, I need to talk to you." So Karent smiles, and what does she do? Run off for more photos. So then we see Elsa and Adriana sit down. And so they see Elaine Lancaster. So remember, this is Lea's friend that's been talking shit about Marysol. They kind of have a back and forth thing. So, of course, Mama Elsa's not going to stand for that. It's her daughter. And she says, "This is my only daughter." She says she heard Elaine was saying bad things about Marysol and she will not accept it. And I say, I love Mama Elsa. I love that she's standing up for Marysol in that moment. I mean, good for her. It's messed up. It was messed up how Elaine Lancaster was talking about Marysol. Elsa says she will hit her with her pocketbook. Elaine accuses Mama Elsa of having too much to drink. Elsa gets pissed. She tries to leave. Elaine ends up excusing herself, and that's how it goes down. So things are not good there. Again, it does feel like Elaine's coming on a bit strong. It seems like she's doing the dirty work for Lea. Lea and Marysol have unresolved beef, and Elaine seems to take it on herself to handle this for Lea when Lea's more than capable of handling it for herself. So after Elaine leaves, Marysol comes to sit down. Lea sits next to her. So when Lea sits down, Marysol to camera says she's waiting to see what insults are thrown at her. So this is something I touched on before. I have really enjoyed Lea in the past. I think she's fun. She seems like a nice person, good personality, all this stuff. She adds a lot. She's rich. Everything we love in a housewife. She's a little kooky, like that too. Okay. She does do these, to quote Karent of all people, nasty nices. She'll throw an insult your way and then laugh it off, and that's what the girls called her on last season. She'll say these things and then laugh it off like, oh, it's a joke. You can't take a joke. No, they can take a joke. It's just sometimes that's not the best thing in the situation. Sometimes it goes too far. So she makes another green card joke about Philippe. Obviously, Marysol and Philippe are separated. It's a sensitive subject. She doesn't really want to talk about it. So it doesn't land very well when Lea's still making these jokes. And what sucks is when Marysol, I thought, tried to nicely tell her, hey, I don't find this funny. Lea's like, I'm sorry. I never want to hurt your feelings. Don't be a victim. So again, that's not what you say to somebody when they, if they tell you that you hurt their feelings. Leah to camera says, this is Miami. Everybody needs a green card. It's a joke. So that's her MO. It's a joke. Marysol says she got an invitation to the gala wrapped in an insult. Okay, so then we see Adriana pull Karent aside. And this is the build-up we've been waiting for. Adriana tells Karent she's oblivious, and she bulldozes through moments. So Adriana's still pissed about this artist situation, that she's like trying to steal the limelight, trying to get the photo. Karent's annoying. I didn't think that Adriana should necessarily have this conversation at this event. I thought that was a little weird. But to make it weirder, I like Alexia a lot. She's going through a lot this season. I get it. I didn't think Alexia handled this great, and believe me, I'm not on Karent's side at all. But I didn't think it was necessary for Alexia to come up when Adriana was articulating herself just fine and expressing her frustration. Alexia came up and piled on to Karent, and I just didn't think that was the right place to do that. I get why Karent would be super annoying and hard to talk to, but I just didn't think it was necessary for Alexia to join. She throws in it's her party. They tell Karent, you come in and do your little smile, and you don't really want to get close to us. That's how I feel too. She's very fake. She doesn't want to get close to any one person. She just wants to get the photo ops. Why do you think she's palling around with Joanna Krupa? Alexia says she's known Rodolfo longer than Karent, and she doesn't believe it's real. She says she knows him through the magazine. So in the middle of going back and forth, this is where Karent screws up. Karent, out of nowhere, brings up Alexia's son, Frankie, saying she's been praying for him and the family. And the editors put in this, music stop thing. And, of course, Alexia loses her shit and says, don't bring my son into this. To camera, Adriana's freaking out like there's no reason to bring up her son. I don't think it was malicious on Karent's part. I don't know what she thought she was doing. Maybe it was, but it just wasn't necessary. It was too much. You don't need to do that. Alexia didn't need to be there piling on Karent. Karent didn't need to bring up the son. It's bad timing on everybody's part. So Alexia, since it's her event, she says, you can get out. And so Karent is shocked. She goes to leave. But instead of just, leaving, she has to go back in front of the camera and hug and kiss each girl as she's going. Her excuse was she wanted to say goodbye so they didn't have another reason to criticize her. My thinking is, no, you wanted a few more seconds of camera time. Okay, so then we see Marta is moving in with Lisa for a little bit. So Lisa has this huge house. She's welcomed Marta, so that way Joanna and Roman can work through their issues and have some alone time. The storyline doesn't really make sense. I don't think about it too hard because it doesn't make any sense. So Joanna has said before she lives part-time in LA. She travels with modeling, of course. She lives part-time in Miami. When she's back in Miami, Marta comes with her to live at the apartment with her and Roman. Well, where does Marta live the other time? She didn't act like she was traveling with Joanna, so she's got to be living somewhere in Miami, so why does she need to live with Lisa? It just didn't quite make sense to me. So Marta's going to move in for a little bit. Joanna's excited to have some alone time with Roman. Joanna tells them that, of course, she and Roman have hit a bump in the road. Joanna says that she hopes that they'll work things out and they get Marta settled. Then we go over to Anna and her ex Robert. Not too much going on here. So remember, they've been separated for a very long time, but they're finally taking steps to officially divorce. They have this business together. They're both attorneys. They're talking about how to separate the business. He's making jokes about being free, and they just go back and forth. She's trying to get him to get a prenup before he gets remarried, and he says she's way overstepping her boundaries. But I like their relationship. They seem to get along well. They make a lot of jokes together. They seem pretty open. She talks about her boyfriend. He talks about his girlfriend. It's just, I guess everybody's just moved on. They just haven't finalized it. So then we go over to Karent. Okay, Karent goes over to Lisa, I should say. And, of course, Karent always says, hello, my friend. And that is just the most annoying thing. It just, adds on to she collects people, for photographs and all this stuff. It just kind of adds to that to me. But Karent tells Lisa she was attacked by two bulldogs. Lisa to camera says they sensed her weakness and are preying on that. Karent explains that Alexia said, "You need to be nicer to the group since you're still the new one." Lisa says, "Who the hell do they think they are? It's cowardly to pick on someone who won't fight back." I get where Lisa's coming from then. That's not exactly what happened. I don't know. I already said my piece on that. The most annoying line of this whole scene came from Lisa. Lisa to camera says about Alexia and Adriana, "Pick on someone your own size. Wait, there's not many people their size." And then does this like witchy grin. And I was just like, what does that mean? Every single one of these girls is like a stick figure. So what are we talking about here? I'm not trying to be trendy. She's talking about like fat shaming. What are we talking about here? What are we making fun of heights? Because none of them seem particularly tall. I don't know. I just didn't know where they were going with that. To me, I just thought that was a dig and a low blow, and it wasn't necessary. So Anna goes over to Alexia's house. She hasn't seen Frankie since the accident. I'm sorry. She's saying that Alexia hasn't left Frankie's side since the accident. Anna, it's a sweet scene. I actually got teary-eyed here because Anna's commending her for not giving up and says it's awe-inspiring. This is where we find out basically it's very touch and go for a long time, and they thought he wasn't going to make it, but Alexia never gave up, and she stuck by him, and that's the reason he was able to recover. They talk about being every mother's worst nightmare, and it really looked hopeless, and breaks my heart. Okay. So then it turns the conversation to Karent. Of course, Anna doesn't like Karent. Remember that Karent's quote-unquote boyfriend, Rodolfo, and Anna kind of had a thing. And so there's definitely some tension over that. Alexia says the Cuban side comes out of her, and they talk about Karent's fakeness and not knowing who she is for real. So then we go over to Joanna. Joanna is obviously upset. She seems to be crying over her computer, looking at messages. She calls Marta, and this is where we find out Roman apparently left his computer, or she borrowed his computer, something like that. She ended up snooping through his emails, and she found some messages that he was sending back and forth to a girl. They implied it might be that dancer that everybody was accusing him of hooking up with. I don't know if that's true or not. We see some of the messages. They sent each other pictures of where they want to travel to. Some of the messages say things like, "We'll be together by the end of the year." I thought the low part, all of it was low, but he was telling the girl when Joanna was coming back into town. So they were obviously making plans, etc. Marta says he's been so shady. Joanna says she's invested 5 years into the relationship and says she feels like an idiot, and obviously he doesn't give a shit about her. Then we go over to Lisa and Marta. They climb on Lisa's bed. Marta ends up telling Lisa about the whole email thing with Roman. She's like, "Oh, Joanna would kill me," but she ends up spilling the beans and telling her about the crazy messages. Marta says that she doesn't want to be around him because she can't be fake. It's my sister. So, I don't know. Marta, I want to like Marta. I don't dislike Marta. I just don't understand what she's doing on the show. She's the sister of a famous person, you know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily want to see these people's kids on their show, so I don't really need to see the sibling either unless you bring drama, you know? And I don't think that's what she's bringing. We see Joanna and Anna meet up. They go to Whole Foods. So Joanna says she's waiting to bring up the Roman stuff till he gets back. She wants to talk to Anna about how to handle all of this. Joanna ends up telling Anna about Marta moving in with Lisa. They talk about relationships and stuff, and that's where Joanna says about reading the emails, the flirting text messages. Anna says, well, it's time to pull out the heavy artillery. And Joanna says she's realizing that what she wants is Roman. She wants to be the best fiance she can, and she's going to try to make this nice meal for him. The whole storyline's kind of strange. Even the way they pulled up the computer screens, I like to pretend like everything's real on this show, so I won't go too far into it. It seemed like this probably happened, but probably a long time ago, and they had worked through it, but she decided to bring it up on camera. That's kind of the vibe I got. Because to just make up her mind, oh, it's fine, I'm going to cook him a nice dinner. Like, that's a strange solution to the situation. Okay, so over at Joanna's apartment, Marta comes over. Marta says that she can't hide how she feels. She thinks Roman's an asshole. Joanna says she decided to fight for her relationship. Of course, the two of them can't stop bickering every scene they're in. So they bicker about the risotto that she's making. Remember, Anna taught her how to make this risotto. Joanna says she had to call up Anna and ask what she's doing wrong. She's making a nice meal. She bought new glasses and plates and stuff. And she's just trying to make this nice surprise for him. So here's the setup for that. Marta leaves and Roman comes home and he said, like, oh, it smells nice in here. And he jokes with her. It's the first time she's made dinner in 5 years. She says she's trying and that they both need to try. And she ends up telling him she knows what's been going on. Reveals that she found the stuff on his computer. He says, I always love you, but I wanted to leave you. And he says he tried to leave her and he said he thought maybe if he started connecting with this woman it'd be easier to leave her, but nothing ever happened and they never hooked up, and of course he changed his mind, didn't want to leave her. That was the most convoluted explanation. Like, do you think you're making this situation better? He says he felt left behind by Joanna, and she says she's really hurt by everything, and he knows he lost her trust. He says he'll do his part, and hopefully they can make it work out. And that's how the episode ends. So, good episode, weird storyline. I just had trouble with this one. They seem to like to fight with each other. It seems to be their relationship, the way that their relationship works or something. I'm not real sure. The whole storyline was kind of strange to me, but that's what happened. So then we get a look at what's going on next. It looks like it's Karent versus everyone. Everybody seems to be having a problem with her. Maybe not Joanna or Lisa, but everybody else does. So it's going to be that. That big lingerie party or whatever Lisa's having. Remember, that's the one with all the drama. From fights with Joe Francis to fights between Adriana and Joanna. I mean, just everybody's fighting with everybody. So I can't wait. I'm here for it. I remember that's a huge episode, so it should be lots of fun. It may have been a mid-season preview, so I'm not positive it's on the next episode, but I know we have that to look forward to very soon, and I can't wait. So you guys, that's it for the episode. I hope you've enjoyed this. Be sure to keep checking back. I got lots of new stuff going up. Yeah, I'm so excited for the new season to come out. I will be all over that when that happens. And thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a fantastic week. Stay healthy and safe, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.